Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So today we are back to chapter 17 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the divisions of faith. So we have looked at the different foods that are categorized into the three modes of material nature, the different types of austerities, and the types of charities. So today we'll be looking at Om Tat Sat. But maybe, Prabhuji, we had a little discussion yesterday about charity. So if Puja Mataji wants to just ask her question again. Puja Mataji?
Yeah, she's there. Naniben?
Yes,
Okay.
Prabhuji. Yes, there was a question. No, do you want to go to the slide, Mataji?
Yeah, I just put it up. Oh, 1 minute.
The one in the mode of ignorance. No, this is in the goodness, isn't it?
Yeah, it's coming.
That's fine.
It's coming.
Second, yes.
Yeah, computer is a little slow.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Right.
further down.
That's the ignorance one.
Yes, ignorance.
Yeah, that's the one. That's on the screen.
No, there's something else. Okay. It says worthy person. No, those who are Vaishnavas and Brahmanas, they're worthy people to give donations to.
Oh, then that's
And
goodness.
they're
Yeah.
worthy person. Yeah, okay, this one.
Yeah, that's it.
Now, condemned, given to poor but unworthy candidate. My question was unworthy. How could we judge somebody who's unworthy? Poor, yes, we can understand. People are poor, yeah. But unworthy, and if you're thinking somebody is unworthy, then we are judging themselves without knowing them in full.
Yes, you're right.
So
You're right.
I was a bit confused about that. And other thing, I think another point of discussion was, if we give to unworthy person, I think from what I remember, unworthy, once we have proved that somebody is unworthy after we have known him, that him or her, that unworthy person, it means we also get bind into a karma by giving somebody who's not worthy of our. But there was another Prabhu, was Sitaram Prabhu, I think, was saying that we do not get into this sort of discussion of, because we are Krishna conscious, we can give to anything to anybody. So this was where we stopped. So we thought we were waiting for you to help us out.
Okay, I'll try. Thank you. One thing is we can't judge, that's for sure. If there are situations where the obvious one is that, somebody is asking for money and, they sort of drink a lot, and, if you give them money, then they're probably going to buy the drink and contaminate themselves even more. So that sort of charity is not good. However, poor and unworthy, who are we to actually judge somebody? If somebody is poor, unless they're going to use that money for illicit purposes, we can give charity to those who are poor or who are even unworthy. If they are not going, if they're going to use it for illicit purpose, then that is condemned, because we are encouraging that behavior. But if somebody is poor and needs something to eat, and you give them money, and there is, we are hopeful that they will spend that money on the food, that is acceptable. But we do need to still be careful that, will they actually spend it on the food, or will they just buy some more, drink or alcohol or drugs or cigarettes or something like that? So best thing is to actually provide them, like Trikal Prabhu is doing in Vrindavan. He's getting the ration and he's giving them the ration. So there is, no liability, if you like, on the giver, because you're giving what is to be cooked, and you're giving to people who need it. I mean, what is the point of charity? The point of charity is to give it to people who need it. The Brahmins, why is charity given to the Brahmins? Because they should not be in any livelihood. They should only depend on donations, basically. So that's why it's recommended to give to the Brahmins, to give to the Vaishnavas, because they're not supposed to be working. But then there are a class of people who are just by providence not in a good position. Should we just ignore them? No, we can't ignore them. Can't ignore anybody. If we have the ability to give, we have to give. We just have to give in a way which is going to encourage goodness and not going to encourage illicit behavior. So that's where the line. Now, how you judge that? Another thing is, we cannot judge anybody. We cannot judge that this person, unless it's obvious. We can't really. How do we know what is in somebody's heart? We don't. So how can we judge somebody? But if there's a good indication that this money is not going to be used properly, we don't give. But if we're thinking, yes, this money is going to the right, good person, and we're giving it at the right time, at the right place, that's charity in the mode of goodness. That is required. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, one time, he was with his disciples in Vrindavan, and there were a series of people sitting and asking for money, and his disciples weren't giving to anybody. And he commented that, are we so arrogant that we don't want to give to those who need? Something like that. So we should always give. If we're in a position to give, giving is so important. Best giving is, like in the mode of goodness. So if somebody comes to us, approaches us and says, I want, money, or I want something, we obviously just can't give this indiscriminately. But we just need to assess, actually, I don't really want to give you the money because I'm not sure how it's going to be used, but can I give you something like food? Can you, if you're in need of food, can I give you that? If somebody comes on a mission, I'll be honest with you, I never let anybody go empty-handed. If somebody comes home and they say, we're collecting for RSPCC or whatever it is, I give them something. It might not be much, like 50 pence or a pound, and I see their badge. Are they actually working for this charity? Ideally, we shouldn't leave anybody who comes empty-handed. Ideally, if they stretch out a hand, we should think that this is actually, the Lord giving us an opportunity to help somebody. I don't know. Does that make sense?
So that means that, yeah, even if we give whatever we have, so we can give to anybody once we know the credentials. But if credentials are not good, then if somebody asks you for something, what will you do?
You give them some food, some prasad, and I would say not Lakshmi. You would give them something in place of Lakshmi.
Okay, because they can utilize the Lakshmi elsewhere. Now, suppose if we give Lakshmi to somebody who doesn't deserve it, but we give it like somebody on the road, or then
Right.
If we give it and if he uses it for some other purposes, does it, a bad karma comes down to us as well?
Yeah.
Of what he's doing. Yes, that was my point as well.
It is. Of course, it's not as bad as doing the activity, doing the illicit activity, but you're encouraging somebody to do it. So there will be some reaction. It may not be so severe, but there will be some reaction to that, because you're taking somebody further away from Krishna. By giving them that money, they're using it for, alcohol or whatever. You're taking them further away from Krishna. Even though you're thinking, I am being kind. No, you're not being kind. You're being cruel because you're taking them away from Krishna. But if you give that person some prasad, Krishna becomes very pleased because you're taking them towards Krishna.
So what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was doing, he was giving out everybody unconditionally Krishna Prem, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nothing more than that. Krishna Prem, not sort of, as you said, prasadam was obviously, because when they cooked in the villages, they cooked for whole village or villages together. So prasadam is fine, but they wouldn't, Krishna Prem is something which is just given out. Okay, so that, but Sitaram Prabhu was telling something. I don't know if he's there and if he wants to tell him what he was thinking.
Yeah, he's here. Maybe he's just not at the desk. He's there, yes. Yes, Sitaram.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Yes, I was just telling that when we do not practice Krishna consciousness to have others karma upon us. Okay, we take, we gives them something that is knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay, knowledge in the association of devotees. When we have friends, we can have friendly connection, and we practice our devotional service in the way where the Shastra says. It is like this, Prabhu. Do you agree?
Yeah, I don't think we should leave anybody empty-handed. It's not that we indiscriminately give. Giving knowledge is absolutely fantastic. If you're in a position to give a Bhagavad Gita to somebody or, any spiritual book,
Sorry, Prabhu, which I am doing, really,
very good.
freely I'm giving them Bhagavad Gita. More than 20 I have given it free, because they said they will not read, I know, but one day any members of his family or his son or his daughter or daughter-in-law will touch this Bhagavad Gita and try to read it, Prabhuji. That's why I gave him. Somebody said to me, a Muslim which lives, not Muslim, sorry, a Christian man, is quite good with me. I gave him. He told me, I cannot take it. Okay, you cannot tell him. You cannot take it. That does not matter. But, and he again told me, my wife is a Muslim and my father was a Hindu. So I told him that does not matter. You just read it. It is, I told him that Prabhupada says these are time bombs. One day it will do its duty. I told him like this. And now that person, every day when he comes, he just look at me. He did not want to follow Krishna consciousness. But I told him, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, how are you? And then he answers and gave me a smile. Okay, Prabhu, it is very excess according to his capacity. Okay.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. Danivin, was that okay?
Yeah. I think what Prabhuji, I think I may have misunderstood. I don't know. But he said that we should give to, that is what we are practicing is Krishna consciousness. So we can give to other people, but other people, whatever we can give anything to other people, it doesn't bind us. I think I may have misunderstood. I don't know.
Maybe.
Prabhuji.
Yeah.
And one thing, Prabhu, more that so Prabhu, I told you that his parents was Indian and his wife is a Muslim. Okay, but I told him that does not matter. And that lady, the wife of that person, he just opened the book, the Bhagavad Gita, and gave a glance. For me, it is very great thing, Prabhu. When a Muslim will take a Bhagavad Gita, and I told him it is, which I am repeating, it is time bomb, Prabhupada says. One day it will do his duty. Haribol.
Yes, very good, very good. Yeah, best thing we can give is knowledge. Yeah. And if we can't give knowledge, prasad is very, very good. Very, very potent. So, okay, hope that's okay. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you.
you.
Hare Krishna. Oh, now, Prabhupada, you have got your hand up.
Yeah,
yes.
because I was Hare Krishna. I was listening. As you said, people come and knock at your house. Some people come and knock at your house and they want us to join a charity, like Save the Children or even the cancer research. But what they do is they will ask on the door that you have to do a direct debit.
Right.
On the they will ask to do it direct debit.
Right.
Alzheimer, even charity for the dogs.
Yeah.
So there, I always says no. Yeah. So is that bad or
no?
Good?
It's hard to do a direct debit because we just don't know our situation. But if somebody comes and we're able to give, that is okay as long as they're authorized people. Yes, that is okay. Yeah.
But they will say that we don't want money. You have to do this charity. No, if you're interested to do the charity.
Yeah,
and that's
direct debit. No,
yeah.
I don't necessarily agree with that because it's a little forceful, and that is not good. That's not good.
And second question is, have you all heard about Siddho? Like Siddho to give to the Brahman. Now I got two Brahmans, one Brahman and another Brahman. One Brahman, now I have stopped because they said they have stopped completely. So there's another Brahman. But they are working class people. They both husband by wife working. But I used to give Siddho like Srad.
That's good.
That's okay. I think
that's okay, but they are still working.
That's okay. Best are those Brahmins who are fully devoted towards Brahminical study, Vedic study.
Yes.
That is best. But, in this day and age, it's very hard to find.
Yeah, no, now that they have stopped completely, not stopped, but I have stopped giving them. And there is another Brahmin which is in the temple, and I'll go and give it him. Yeah, and I just give money and that's it. And he will do the puja for my Petrus.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
That's it.
That's good.
Anyway, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
So shall we move on? Riyansh, would you like to read the Sanskrit?
Yes, Mataji.
Pooja Mataji, would you read the translation?
Yes, Mataji, thank you.
Okay, Riyansh, go on.
Text 23. Om Tat Saditi Nirdesho Brahmanas Trivida Smrita Brahmanas Tena Vedascha Yagnascha Vihita Pura.
From the beginning of creation, the three words Om Tat Sat were used to indicate the supreme absolute truth. These three symbolic representations were used by Brahmanas by chanting the hymns of the Vedas and during sacrifices for the satisfaction of the Supreme.
Text 24. Tasmadomiti Udaritya Yagnadana Tapakriya Pravartante Vidanokta Satatam Brahmavadinam.
Therefore, transcendentalists undertaking performances of sacrifice, charity, and penance in accordance with scriptural regulations begin always with Om to attain the Supreme.
Text 25. Taditi Anabhisandhya Phalam Yagna Tapakriya Dana Kriyas Cha Vivida Kriyante Moksha Kangshibi.
Without desiring fruitive results, one should perform various kinds of sacrifice, penance, and charity with the word tat. The purpose of such transcendental activities is to get free from material entanglement.
Text 26 to 27. Sadbhave sadubhave cha saditi etar prayojyate prashashte karmani tata sachabda partayujyate yagne tapasi dane cha stiti saditi chochati karma kaiva chaiva tadatiyam saditi eva saditi eva vidiyate.
The absolute truth is the objective of devotional sacrifice, and it is indicated by the word sat. The performer of such sacrifice is also called sat, as are all words of sacrifice, penance, and charity, which, true to the absolute nature, are performed to please the Supreme Person, O son of Prutha.
Text 28. Ashadya hotam datam tapastaptam kritam chayat asaditi uchate partha nachatat pretya no iha. Hare Krishna.
Anything done as sacrifice, charity, or penance without faith in the Supreme, O son of Prutha, is impermanent. It is called asat and is useless both in this life and the next. Hare Krishna, end of chapter 17. Shraddhaya Vibhaga Yoga. Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yoga.
Thank you, Mataji. So, summary of the verses 23 to 28. It is essential to understand that all activities, even those performing goodness, will always yield karmic reactions to the performer, and thus bind him to repeated existence in this world. But is there a way out? In Vedic hymns, God is defined as the supreme enjoyer by the three words Om Tat Sat. Thus, if our sacrifice, penance, and austerities are dedicated to the Supreme, done for his pleasure and favor, then such activities yield permanent benefit and ultimate freedom. With this kind of transcendental aim, all our activities become liberating instead of entangling. So Om is an important sound vibration to understand. Yeah, very important. So here it is that if we do austerities or penance or sacrifices, the charity, so if it is done not in a good way, then it binds us to repeated existence in this world. So we have to do everything for the pleasure and favor of the Supreme. Yeah, any more comments?
Yeah, Om is such an important vibration. Sometimes we take it for granted, or sometimes we, because we're chanting Hare Krishna, it's natural, because Hare Krishna already includes Om. But sometimes we feel somebody who's chanting Om is perhaps inferior to those who are chanting Hare Krishna. But it's not true. Actually, Om is, I think Jiva Goswami himself has defined Om as Radha Krishna in the Jiva. So, okay, anyway, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
So Om is actually a very, very important transcendental sound. And Krishna says it, identifies with the Om in the Bhagavad Gita. In several places, he mentions the Omkar, Om. So we sometimes use or chant Om when meditating. No harm. In fact, it'll do us a lot of good. So, yeah, and as you very nicely explained, that transcendental activity is required, is important. Doing bhakti is such an important. Oh, yes, please read this. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so the meaning of Om. The first Bij mantra is Om. This is the Sat Bij, Krishna's divine presence. The Vedas glorify Om as the origin of the Vedas and as the source of the whole creation. For this reason, Om precedes every Vedic mantra. Om is a seed mantra mentioned throughout the Vedic literatures and chanted by all varieties of transcendentalists. It has also worked its way into many languages to indicate God. In English, all imported descriptions of God have Om as its root. Om enters the English language as the prefix omji. Can't understand this word.
Omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent. It comes so many times. Yeah. So because Om, like when omnipresent is God is present everywhere, omnipotent, he's very powerful. Omniscient, he knows everything. All those words start with Om.
Never thought about that. The Christians end prayers with Amen, meaning Om, and Muslims say Amin, denoting God. In every breath, man utters and repeats it unintentionally and inevitably. Every vibration in the body and in the universe emerges from Om. So a child cries Om. Oh, there is one line missing, I thought.
The ocean roars. Oh.
Cow.
Cow. Om.
Okay. Besides the indication that Om is not different from the sound of Krishna's flute in the Bhagavad Gita, Shri Krishna says, Pranava Sarva Vedeshu. I am the syllable Om mentioned in all the Vedas. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 17. Unfortunately, most people today have an impersonal conception of the sacred syllable Om. So the sound of Om in the beginning of every Vedic hymn addresses the Supreme Lord, because the impersonalists are very much afraid of addressing the Supreme Lord, Krishna, by his innumerable names. They prefer to vibrate the transcendental sound, Omkar. But they do not realize that Omkar is the sound representation of Krishna. Srila Prabhupada, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse 8 in the third quote mentioned that. Due to the widespread influence of impersonal philosophies, most people believe the goal of meditation and Om is to give up one's individual identity and merge with the Supreme Brahma. On the other hand, Sri Jiva Goswami reveals that Om, besides indicating the Supreme Lord Krishna, also includes his personal energies, Srimati Radhika, and his eternal servants, the Jiva Shakti. So Om is a combination of the letters A, U, and M. Letter A refers to
Krishna. Yeah, it looks like Krishna.
Yeah. The letter A refers to Krishna, U refers to Radha, and M refers to the Jivas.
Yeah, very good, very good.
The meaning of Om again. In reality, the divine syllable Om has nothing to do with an impersonal conception. Even Krishna devotees working under this misconception have developed an aversion to chanting Om. Om clearly denotes Krishna as confirmed thrice in the Bhagavad Gita. So So, Pranava Sarva Vedeshu, I am the syllable Om, mentioned in all the Vedas. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 17. Vedyam Pavitram Omkar, I am the object of knowledge, the purifier, and the syllable Om. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse 8. Om iti ekaksharam brahma, yaharam mam anushmaran, ya prayati rajan deham, sayati paramam gati. After being situated in this yoga practice and vibrating the sacred syllable Om, the supreme combination of letters, if one thinks of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and quits his body, he will certainly reach the spiritual planets. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse 8. The meaning of the sound vibration Omkar is present in the Gayatri Mantra. The same is elaborately explained in the 4 shlokas of Srimad Bhagavatam, known as Chatur Shloki. The sound vibration Omkar is the root of Vedic knowledge. This Omkar is known as Mahavakya, or the supreme sound. Whatever meaning is in that supreme sound, Omkar is further understood in the Gayatri Mantra. Chaitanya Charitamrita. Madhya Divya. This was on the meaning of Om.
Yet.
I explained to you.
That's very good. Yeah, thank you. Prabhavin, anything from your side?
Yes, interesting. As Mataji said, it's good to chant all the time Om. And I do read a book about, it's not Bhagavad, it's something like that. And in there, I was reading yesterday that chanting Om is good to your soul anytime, every time, walking or awaking in the middle of night. Then I got mixed up afterward. I said, when I was saying Om, I was feeling so much better. Then all of a sudden I remember, I said, oh, like Prabhuji said, chant Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. So I got mixed up. And I mean, I think it's good to chant Om.
Yeah.
But like this morning, I woke up, I think it was when I see in the clock, it was 4 o'clock, and I woke up, and then I was chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama in the bed. And then this morning, when I was reading this book, which I do read every day in the morning after my Gita, and in there it was saying Om. It's good to chant Om, and there were so many versions with it, but it was in Gujarati, and Om Chandrama, Om Suryam, Om. It was all about Prithvi, Om, and I was thinking, oh, now I'm confused with you now that what's best to do it.
See, Om is fine, but Om, there's it's like a breathing technique to it as well.
I mean, I can bring that book down and
no need.
Okay.
With
and it's
Krishna,
everything is in Gujarati.
Yeah, Hare Krishna is very easy because you get the beads and you chant. With Om, there are certain requirements to get it right. To breathe in, and then when you breathe out, you say
Out, yeah.
Om, and then you say the ma at the end as well.
Yeah.
So, and that is actually very good for one's health as well. But with Hare Krishna, it's the same, whether you chant Om or Hare Krishna. But with Hare Krishna, there's a few things. One is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given that as the mantra for this age, Harinam.
Yeah.
So that is why we focus on the chanting. But if somebody is chanting Om, we shouldn't think that they are inferior. They're not inferior. They're not inferior. They're as good as chanting Hare Krishna. But Hare Krishna is just easier in this age. Very easy, very simple to connect with Radha and Krishna.
Radha and
So
Krishna.
that's the beauty. But if somebody is doing Om, that is fine as well. Absolutely fine.
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna,
Thank
Prabhu.
you.
Sitaram here.
Hare Krishna.
And you know, I have read somewhere, Prabhupada says, Krishna himself, he says, somewhere, as soon as you say Krishna, Krishna appears before you.
Mm.
Do you agree with me, Prabhu? I have seen,
That's there. That's Rupa Goswami. Yeah.
That's it. Krishna appears, and you know when you think of this, you are very happy, Prabhu, that you are doing something to please God, and God is seeing you. You know how much happy you are.
Yeah.
It's like that, Prabhu. Okay, Haribol.
Sure. Very good. Okay. Anything else? Anybody else? Okay, Karuna.
Okay, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai.
Yeah.
Jai.